Former Apple founder and CEO Steve Jobs was giving a commencement speech to Stanford University in California. And in that speech, he said something to the effect of, the best way to realize that you have nothing to lose in life is to realize that someday you are going to die. And this had more of a profound impact because it was coming from him. Most of us know who Steve Jobs was. And he passed away, I believe, in 2011. So it's been some time. And I want to say he gave this speech in 2010 after he'd been battling with cancer for a multitude of years. And he might have even known at that point that his days were numbered. So I keep that in my mind when I go through my daily life when I feel nervous. And in today's topic, I want to talk about the current dating landscape and what you as a man or woman, but from a male's perspective, can do about it. So, Steve Jobs' words, super powerful. And I can relate that to dating because, it's an interesting place that we're at in today's dating market. Generation Z, Gen Zers, and millennials, we seem to be having a hard time with dating and with expressing interest in people and also in approaching as well. Now, I'm coming at this from a heterosexual perspective, but the same applies in other relationship dynamics as well. It's never been easy to go up and approach women for me. It's always been difficult. It's always made me a bit nervous. I started going up to and approaching girls probably when I was realistic. I'm just trying to be realistic with you guys. 18 or 19 years old. Some of you started approaching girls before that, and some of you started after or have not approached girls yet. And I want to tell you that it can be done, and you're always going to be a little bit nervous doing it. So the goal is to not eliminate the anxiety completely, but it's to have enough of a push to go up and do it in the first place. And you're going to feel so good after you do it. I remember looking back when I started to approach people, I would always get nervous, but I felt good. Like I felt almost like a little high, even if I got a no from that girl that I went up to and approached. And the reason that I felt so good is because even though the answer was not what I wanted it to be, I felt so good because I went up and did the hard thing. And the further that I have gone, the more time that's gone by, the more confident that I have become with going up and talking to girls and asking them for their numbers. And I have been on dating apps before in the past. I don't have a fundamental issue with dating apps. But I know a lot of guys do, and I can understand why a lot of guys do. And the reason is because if you're a guy on dating apps, the odds are really stacked against you. It's really difficult. Even if you have a great job, if you're very good looking, if you just have a stellar personality, all those things. I mean, just raise your hand, like me as well. Like I've been disappointed on those dating apps. So it's not easy. I think women and girls would tell you the same thing, that they've been disappointed on the dating apps too. I think that's a universal thing. And so, again, like I said, I don't have a problem with these apps, but I do not currently use dating apps, and I have not for some time, and I don't want to in the future, if at all possible. If it gets to that point where I'm like, you know what, I'm not really meeting anyone meaningful, or I'm not meeting someone who I want to, then, dating apps can be a beneficial tool, and I might revisit it at that point. But for me personally, taking away that option for dating apps has required that I go up and approach women. And a lot of these women that I have approached, I have first met in my gym. Now, I know a lot of you might be hearing like, oh, he's that guy who approaches girls in the gym. There's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And you have to be decent at reading body language, and, timing is important as well, right? And I'm not going to get into that in this video, because I want to more so talk about, even though millennials, Gen Zers, we're having difficulty in the dating market, and all of us are, regardless of your gender, there's a huge opportunity, especially as men. And that huge opportunity is that almost no men are going up to approach women, or other men, or women approach women, or women approach men. That's not happening much anymore. Hardly at all. So, the big opportunity for you to set yourself apart is that if you can muster up the courage to go and do that, you are going to stand out in a really good way. And I know you might be like, well, where do I start? There's a long way going from where I am right now to approaching girls. And so I would think about it like you trying to get in shape. You're not going to just go into the gym and start like trying to rep out some crazy weight. You're going to build the fundamentals. You're going to build your form, and you're going to start with lower weights and then work your way up over time. You might even get a personal trainer. So your personal trainer could be an older sibling, a parent, an older friend, or someone that just feels confident going up and approaching people. And they can give you insights, and they can help you to discover, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but you can do it. Believe me, you might be in a spot where you're like, I could never do that. And I understand, but I'm here to tell you, you can. You really can. It just takes you building the belief in yourself, right? I think we look at confidence the wrong way. We look at it as receiving confidence and praise from other people, and that builds yourself from within. But really, you need to start with building within, and then that confidence that you build within is going to project to the outside. And people can really pick up on that, and that's very infectious. So my advice to you, if you're starting from ground zero, would be to talk with female colleagues, and also start with people you don't have necessarily a romantic interest in. You're maybe not attracted to them, or for whatever reason, you might not want to date them. Maybe you have a cousin. I was just hanging out with my cousin the other day. She's fan-freaking-tastic. I love her, obviously. And we hung out like all day. Like start with like hang out with family, like hang out with your mom. I know this might sound lame, but get more comfortable with whatever you're attracted to, having interactions with those people. And then over time, you can start to approach the people that you do find attractive. And let me tell you, it's just like any other skill. You're going to start out and you're not going to be the best at it. You might be frustrated, and you probably are going to at first attach outcome to how you feel. And that's understandable, because if you really like someone, if you really have a crush on them, and you go up to them, you muster that courage, and then they tell you, hey, no, I have a partner, or I'm not interested, you might feel crushed. But I would encourage you to turn that around and be excited about the fact that you did it. And it's just like anything. Like I used the fitness analogy earlier. You kind of get hooked once you start seeing results. And it's the same thing with approaching people. You get more, the more practice you get, the better that you get, and you find your own style, and you can look at how other people do it. But I would just really encourage you to eventually work to the point where you have your type of approach that fits your personality, and don't overthink it too much, right? Easier said than done. But so, and the more practice you're going to get, the better you're going to feel about it. And then you're going to see that person that you're interested in, or maybe you've seen them a bunch already, and you're going to be like, hey, I would love to go for a walk with you. I have this really cool street with a bunch of beautiful houses along it. I'm going for a walk tonight. I would love it if you join me, right? Something like that. And I just really encourage you, especially if you're a millennial or Gen Zer, and you're having difficulty approaching people, to try to get better at this. Because again, you can continue using the dating apps, or you can just denounce dating altogether. But I don't think that that's the best way to go about it. Because you're here once, right? To get existential like I did at the beginning of the video. Like Steve Jobs said, we all are going to pass away someday. And so if you, in your heart of hearts, want to go up and approach this person and make yourself available to them, I would really encourage you to work on yourself and work on approaching, work on becoming a better conversationalist so that some point down the line, you can go up and approach people. And even if it's a no, which I get plenty of no's, oh my gosh, it's no more often than it is yes, but don't let that discourage you. I also get, when I approach a girl, they say no, let's say, hey, I'm flattered, thank you. Or I just got out of a relationship, right? I recently approached a girl and she was like, hey, just to be transparent, I got out of a relationship, I'm not looking for anything right now. And I was like, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that's great. And so it's just the way it is. But you'd rather go out there and do the thing, right? Like Cristiano Ronaldo said, I'm sure this has been said way before his time, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you owe it to yourself. You have one life. I really want you to work on getting more comfortable approaching people that you're interested in. I hope this video brought you some value. I realize this was a heart-to-heart. I will make future videos on these topics, and that leads me into my next point. Please like this video if it brought you value. Comment future video topics you want to see, and I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.